This is the first basic lesson for ACT Prep. It's manipulations, properties of numbers, and conversions. A few terms I just want to go through here. When you encounter the word sum in a word problem, it means that you are going to be adding numbers together. It's the answer to addition. Difference means you're going to be subtracting. Product means multiplication. Quotient, which is also a fraction, means that you're going to be dividing. Also, just a reminder of what the word remainder means. After you do long division, it's the number that's left over. For example, if you have 15 divided by 2, 2 goes into 15 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14, and you have a remainder of 1. So that's an example of a remainder. Properties of 0 and 1. 0 has some special properties in dealing with addition. For example, if you add any number to 0, you will always get that number back. X plus 0 is x. Also, if you add any number to its inverse, like an x and a negative x, you will always get the answer 0. 1 also has some special properties in division and multiplication. If you multiply a number times 1, you will always get that same number back. If you multiply a number times its reciprocal, like x times 1 over x, you will always get 1 as the answer. Another really cool thing about the number 1 is it can be expressed in lots of different ways. 1 can be written as 5 over 5. 1 can be written as 1 mile over 5,280 feet. That's because anything divided by itself is equal to 1, and 1 mile is equivalent to this many feet. So if you divide those, you're going to get 1. So 1 is really special when it comes to multiplication, because you can multiply anything by 1 and it does not change its value. And you'll see in some examples how valuable this really is. Some quick examples of properties of 0 and 1. 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 minus 0 is 4. 3 times 0 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times a half is 1. Anything divided by itself, like pi divided by pi, is 1. Now we're going to attempt this word problem. It's a simple conversion. Kevin Durant has a height of 81 inches. How tall is he in feet? When doing these conversions, what I'd like you to focus on is the number 1. So we're going to start out with 81 inches. I'm going to write that as a fraction, which you don't have to do. Most people like to. We're then going to multiply this by another fraction that's equivalent to 1. So to do that, you need a conversion. How many inches are in 1 foot? Well, hopefully you know there are 12 inches in 1 foot. I want the inches to cancel from the top of this fraction. Therefore, I want to have inches on the bottom of this fraction. So 12 inches, I'm going to put on the bottom, 1 foot on the top. So what this means is we are not changing the value of 81 inches. We are multiplying it by 1, so we're just going to change the way that it looks. So the inches cancel, because if you divide something by itself, you get 1, which then gives us on top 81 feet divided by 12. If you were to type that into your calculator, you would get 6.75 feet, which is answer C. While we're here, I want to talk about how some answers can be ridiculous. And you can eliminate answers at the beginning of the problem, which I probably should have done before I actually did it. He's 81 inches tall, and wants to know how tall he is in feet. It's ridiculous to think that a human being would be below 1 foot in feet. It's also ridiculous to think that somebody could be 12 feet tall. So already you've eliminated 2 of the answers. So if you had no idea how to do this problem, but you had some number sense, you have a 1 out of 3 chance of getting this correct. So it's important that you look at your answers at the beginning and eliminate ones that you think would be ridiculous. This next problem, Jose drove his truck 15 miles from his house to get to Wally's, which is my affectionate name for Walmart. Approximate the distance he traveled in kilometers. So we're going to take the miles that was given, 15 miles. You can write it as a fraction if you want, over 1, or you cannot. Now we need to multiply this by 1 in the form of getting rid of the miles. Since we know that 1 kilometer is 0.62 miles, I'm going to put the 0.62 on the denominator. That way my miles end up canceling. And on the numerator, we put what that's equivalent to, which is 1 kilometer. So when you're multiplying 2 fractions, you multiply the top numbers together. So that's going to be 15 times 1 km is 15 km, divided by the denominator of 0.62. If I then put that into my calculator, that's about 24.2 kilometers, which is answer D. At this point, I would like you to do exercise set 1. If you need to rewatch anything that was in this because you didn't follow it the first time, feel free to do so. If you need to come up and ask me questions about what you've just watched, feel free to do so as well.